Well, I'm joined right now by Power of Evil for World's Interview Week because that's what we're doing now. We're interviewing all the players before they go off to China. Of course, this coverage is brought to you by Alienware. So, Power of Evil, you were just saying you're a little tired.
Yeah, I just woke up like 45 minutes ago, like an hour ago, and had already two interviews before you, and now I'm at least a little bit more awake, and I'm ready for your interview, man.
It reminded me of the picture people were posting from playoffs where your hair was all wacky and people were like, "Oh, he just woke up ready to smash some people in playoffs." Had you just woken up in that
No,
picture?
I actually haven't. My hair was just way too long, and I took a shower before that, and I didn't like dry it with like the fan. I
Yeah,
just
yeah.
let it dry
The hair
itself,
dryer, yeah.
and it was just completely chaotic. I didn't even realize that. I was just like. After I think the series, I go to Twitter and I'm like, what is that? Is that actually how my hair looked like? I was like, oh my god, I need to look up next time.
It was. I mean, it was very easy to imagine that that was what happened. That you just kind of rolled out of bed and you were like ready to play playoffs. In part because it sounds like such a gamer thing to do. Like, okay, what time do I need to be awake for playoffs? That's funny. Anyway, um, so you guys have made it. You and I talked a little bit after you qualified, but I'd like to make this a little bit more forward facing. One, we haven't talked since you made it to finals, so that's got to be pretty hype. I mean, were you expecting that?
Um, Honestly, I knew that we're gonna have a chance to make it back to finals, but we would need to play our hearts out and give it all. And I'm obviously insanely happy that we made it happen, this back-to-back finals, and it wouldn't have worked out if we didn't all just try our hardest.
Yeah. There is a quote from Solo that's where he said, "I think if we win, people will think North America is weaker, or like it'll reflect poorly on North America in the eyes of the people that are watching." Right? Do you think that that's true? Do you think people somehow feel like FlyQuest is not worthy of a victory?
I think he said that because the perception of the old guard, which is C9, T7, TL, is just way more seen as like they're so good, they're so much better than everyone else, that it's really hard for a new team to make a name. And I think you could see that in um as well like the All Pro voters example, for Solo not making it, or I would say like our players not making it higher than they were. I would say same for the MVP. But then again, um, I think I saw Solo quote as well, or like say that in the end the All Pro vote doesn't matter if we actually just take the trophy. So I think that's a really good quote to do.
Yeah. Is it frustrating to you at all that people sort of value the old guard teams so much more, or maybe are unwilling to give you guys credit?
Well, obviously it's obviously you want to get hyped and you want to like get that recognition as a player, but one way to prove it is obviously to just keep beating the teams that people expect them to win against you. So
Yeah.
I think that's kind of what we're doing, and I feel like we are just just taking it one game at a time. And if we win the split, I don't think there's any doubt anymore. I think we made it pretty far, but there's one more step to do.
Who do you think you'll face in the finals?
Honestly, it's gonna be really close. I believe TL and TSM could both make it. Um, it's actually funny because most of the best of fives I watched were like 3-0s or really close,
Yeah.
like just really strong 3-1s. I feel like we in Flacos had like the closest best of fives and like the craziest best of fives. So um, I'm definitely a hope and would expect a 5 game series out of them, but it could maybe even go 3-1 in either case. I would say for us, just personally as a team, I don't think we're afraid of either one of these two teams since we beat TSM 2 in the regular season and we beat now TL in the best of 5. I think that we can beat both teams, but obviously, like we shouldn't go in like underestimating these teams. I think they're still strong and they can win against us in the best of 5 if we are not ready and if we are not prepared.
Yeah. Well, looking towards Worlds, you guys are going to have to do a 14-day quarantine when you get there. Is that something you're not looking forward to, or does it not really matter to you?
Obviously it's not as nice. I remember that I think there's not gonna be a crowd as far as I know either.
Yeah.
So it's not gonna be the same experience as it was in 2017, where like I was in that insanely big stadium. There was so many like awesome Chinese fans just screaming. It was like a really awesome experience. I think this Worlds is gonna be fun as well in in its own way, but it's definitely gonna be as well a little bit of it will take mental strength, like 2 week quarantine where I don't think we're even allowed to see our teammates slash yeah, like coaches, managers. So we're pretty much actually just by ourselves, playing solo queue all day, getting ready. So yeah.
Well, I think it's an interesting situation that you guys are going into. Similar to sort of the way in which people seem to think like, oh, well, if FlyQuest wins, it doesn't mean much, or whatever. The solo conversation. It's interesting because I feel like people have the same situation for North America, where like now you guys are going to Worlds, and people will still not believe in you. So I'm kind of curious what you think of all that. Is it fair for NA fans to be worried this year, or do you think maybe people are setting their expectations too low for the region?
Well, I definitely think that the expectations are abnormally low. They're like I think they're like 0-6 every NA team, kind of like that. I feel that's like the
Yes.
expectation. So, that obviously that's pretty low. I think if you look at the past years, obviously like EU has performed way better than NA internationally, but that doesn't mean that NA has no chance to get out of groups or to do terrible in groups. I think it's gonna be hard to say though. Oh, we're gonna do really good in groups because we don't even know what the groups are.
Yeah.
So I think it's gonna still take a while. We're gonna see how the groups are, and then I will just take it the same as when I did it in Misfits, and we're just gonna try to take it one step at a time, get out of groups, and do our best.
Are there any teams or players that specifically that you would like to play against?
Um, I definitely want to play against some of the LPL mid laners again. I think they're insanely strong individually, and then again as well, Showmaker and Chovy impressed me when I watched LCK. So I felt like facing off against these teams and seeing how I match up would be awesome. I think um, I was lucky to have had that last time when I was at Worlds. I really wanted to face Faker once in my life, and I managed to do that.
Yeah. Well, looking forward to seeing what you guys are able to bring at Worlds. Is there anything that you want to say to any of the fans out there?
Um, I wanna just generally thank all the fans that trusted and supported us during our long run. I think it was a hell of a ride, and I feel like all the fans can be proud of what we achieved. And besides that, yeah, just follow our social media, follow my social media, follow FlyQuest, and be ready for some fish god prediction.
Very good. Well, I'm excited to see how the predictions go. Either way, thank you so much for the interview. For everyone else, you can check out the rest of my coverage of all things Worlds right here on my YouTube channel. Well, I'm not going to be able to go to China this year because legally I am not allowed to. It literally took international laws being created in order to prevent me from attending Worlds for the first time ever. But that doesn't mean that I'm not going to be attending it remotely. As it kicks off soon, I'll be staying up and becoming nocturnal, and at least I will have the brilliant new Alienware monitors that they'll be sending me soon. They just announced these to help keep me awake and paying attention to all the action. 360 hertz refresh rate on this 25-inch. You want to play some high refresh rate games. That's going to be fantastic. And then also, I've got my 34-inch monitor right now. We're going to see if I can go to 38 with their new ultra-wide. Also have a edge-to-edge 27-inch. That's fantastic. Either way, thank you so much to Alienware for their sponsoring of this content.